And good morning, everybody. It is Fabulous Friday featuring Stephen Travers. Now, I am honoured that Stephen is on here today. Stephen is my trainer. He trained me to become a certified havening practitioner. And I use it a lot. I absolutely love this technique. It works effectively and efficiently. And I know that many of you have already been on my free group havening that I do on Sundays at 1 o'clock. However, we have the man himself here, Stephen Travers. Tell people about havening and what it is and why it is so special. Take it away, Stephen.
Yeah, so havening is a groundbreaking psychosensory therapy to resolve anxiety-based disorders, issues such as PTSD, panic attacks, fears, phobias, complex trauma, etc. It was developed by my good colleagues, Dr. Ron and Steve Rudin. And when we say psychosensory, we use sensory touch, the sensory part being we stroke here, here, and here. And the psycho part means psychological. So we use very psychological visualization and distraction techniques. What's remarkable about havening is that it can completely and permanently resolve even the most severe anxiety-based disorders and trauma within minutes, and to do that incredibly consistently. So it does it time after time after time after time. So it gives you a very systematic framework when you're working with clients in terms of giving you that ability to achieve rapid and excellent results over and over again with clients. So I suppose that's a bit of a snapshot or an overview of what havening is. Obviously, there's much more to it than that, but that's really, I suppose, a summary.
That's really helpful, though, because people are always saying to me, what is it? And I do. I say along those lines that you do, and I say, and I say it's the psychosensory touch, and it activates your own serotonin and oxytocin in your brain, and it also oscillates the GABA waves so that it pops those nasty things off, and they go back on into the area, the hippocampus, where they belong. And that's what I say. Is that about right, Stephen?
Yeah, that's about right. Like, essentially, I suppose one of the big breakthroughs in terms of the neuroscience of trauma and how havening was developed was that we discovered that anxiety-based disorders are a consequence of unresolved stress and traumatic events, which become neurobiologically encoded in a part of the brain called the lateral amygdala through a very specific type of a receptor called an AMPA receptor. So these AMPA receptors, if you think of my hand as a neuron in the amygdala and my fingers as the AMPA receptors, when someone has a very traumatic event or experience, these receptors get locked on during the traumatic event. And these receptors download or encode the cognitive components of the trauma, the autonomic components, that's things like heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, temperature changes in the body, the somatosensory components, so like the somatic maybe pain that could be in the body, and the emotional components, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the stress. All those components get encoded through the AMPA receptors in the amygdala. And once those receptors become encoded, they stay stuck there permanently until an intervention like havening comes along. And what havening does, it delinks or removes those AMPA receptors off the amygdala, disrupts that neural pathway, and if you like, essentially resolves the trauma. So it removes the emotional and the somatic distressing components. So as an example, when you think of the memory again, then you won't feel the distress. It's completely gone. And any cues or stimuli in your environment, be it externally or internally, that was triggering off that fight or flight, cortisol, adrenaline reaction in the brain and the body, it won't be able to trigger it anymore because those AMPA receptors are now gone. So it can't fire the neural pathway to trigger that fight, flight, freeze reaction. So that's kind of, once again, a snapshot of how it works from a neurobiological perspective.
Yeah, no, really helpful for anybody watching this, because then they can understand, oh yes, and it makes it so much more understandable. I think people do like to know just enough about how things work. Do you agree?
I do, and I think it's very important because havening does look sometimes deceptively simple. I know we were talking about this a while ago, and in some ways that's misleading because it's knowing what to aim the havening at and being trauma informed and having a real deep understanding of how trauma gets encoded in the brain and the body. So instead of treating symptoms, we're actually getting to the neurobiological roots of the trauma, which is those AMP receptors. And once we can pinpoint and identify those traumas, if you like, which could go back 10, 20, 30 years ago in some people's cases, that's the key to getting consistently excellent results with havening. So a lot of people, that's important to understand. This looks relatively simple, but it's knowing what to aim it at. That's the key.
Exactly. And so I am not training the havening when I do that. And if anybody does want to do the havening with Stephen, then, get in touch with me, because I can easily link you up. In fact, we'll get some links in the comments below, because I know you have another training coming up in May, a really good one in May. I think you've got a really
at the moment. Look, like my background is interesting as well. Hypnotherapy. I'm a hypnotherapist now for over 20 years, and I'm doing havening now 12 years. I've trained over 500 therapists and health professionals through the certified havening training in that time. People like psychologists, medical doctors, psychotherapists, hypnotherapists, EMDR practitioners, and really anyone working in the mental health space. And at the moment, one of the projects I'm working on is actually training therapists and health professionals how to convert inquiries into premium paying clients. So that's kind of a new thing I'm working on. And then in May next year, I think it's the 10th and the 12th, or the 10th and the 11th of May, I'm doing the certified international havening practitioner training live online. So that'll be the next date.
Yes, wonderful. And it's 2 days, and because I joined you from America doing it, so I know you get plenty of people joining from America, and then so we learn it from you over the 2 days. However, it's not just that, because then what I really liked about the training here was that actually I had to do a case study on 30 people, and send those to you. And so it was very thorough. And then there was exams, and I actually appreciated that.
Yeah, so as you know, Claudia, the 2 days it's very practical, the 2-day training itself, and I do lots of live demos on real anxiety-based disorders and issues and trauma with people. Then the groups go into groups of 3 and actually practice all the different techniques. And there's many different havening techniques. That's the thing. And then we come back and we do a Q&A and we share results people got. And obviously it's all part of the training in terms of learning and beginning to master the modality. Yeah, then after the 2 days, there's an online science review, multiple choice questions. You record 2 videos, you send them to me. I give you some advice and tweaks and how to, if you like, improve them and, what you're doing well. And there's 30 case studies, but they're pretty short and simple in terms of you can do 3 havenings with 1 person, and that would equate to 3 actual case studies. And the training is really for people with experience, as in people who are therapists or health professionals working with clients, or even people who may be new and also seasoned.
Yes, you're right. I know I did mine in like 3 weeks because I managed to do it on my clients.
Yeah.
Anyway, that time. So you don't need, and you have a year to do it. However, for me, it felt better to just get on with it.
Yeah. What I recommend is, as a bonus with clients you're already working with, do a evening with them at the end of the session, get a brilliant result with them, and get a case study with that as well, and maybe a 5-star Google review can help as well. Start building your practice, because like a big part of what I'm working on these days, I've always been working on it, but it's more that I'm moving into, is actually empowering therapists and training them how to create a thriving, sustainable practice. Because my background, before I even became a hypnotherapist over 20 years ago, was working as a business coach and a sales and marketing trainer.
Okay.
I actually worked with companies like Sky, Action Business Coach, the Dublin newspaper, People Group. And that was part of the reason why I was able to establish a thriving practice myself so quickly, because I have that knowledge and skill set from 25 years ago. So that's something I'm bringing more and more into my work, because I don't think it's enough even to be able to achieve great results for clients. I think that's a missing part that a lot of therapists are not being trained on. And it's just simply a skill set. Once you learn it, it's a huge asset in terms of building that thriving practice.
You're right, Stephen, because we aren't just doing our wonderful work. We actually have to say, well, hello, I'm here. And that's what you're giving people, the how to do that in this course that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, well, the course I give some bonus, the training, the evening training, I do give some bonus videos, but the new training we're actually working on is actually specifically on how to turn inquiries. That's people who send you an email inquiring about your services, be it if they have anxiety, stress, or they want to stop smoking or lose weight. And how do you get on the phone and convert that client or that inquiry into a client, and how to position yourself as the trusted authority and expert in your field. So it's a real skill set in how you actually do that in terms of the questions you ask. And even part of what I train in that program is how to pinpoint the traumas even on the call with the client and identify them. And that's what that in itself begins to position you as the expert, because if you can do that on the call, that's quite impressive in the eyes of the client.
Yes.
And then getting really clear with the client as well in terms of, what do they actually want to achieve in the sessions as well. So there's a whole framework to that, but it's a very systematic approach. The aim is to really get people up to an 80% plus conversion in terms of their inquiries, and start also charging a fee that reflects the value that we produce for clients. Because so many therapists I notice, they're really great at what to do, but they're charging a very low fee because they don't have that skill set. They're trying to compete with very, very low fees, and it becomes very difficult to grow a practice that way. So that's really one of the main things at the moment that I'm working on and moving into for 2025.
Yes, and it's true actually, because if you do charge what you're worth, then generally actually you get good clients who are ready for change.
Yeah, it's really, for me, like, it's all about results. So if you're able to achieve consistently top class results and trauma resolution for clients, and if you are an expert in terms of your knowledge and your skills to do that, like, you should ideally be charging a premium fee if you're able to get those top class results. And the other side of that, if you're not able to do that and you don't have that skill set, well, you probably won't be charging a high fee anyway. But if you can, you then, you have that opportunity to charge, what it's not even what you're worth, it's about the results you're producing for the client. That's the most important part.
Yes, I agree. Now, Stephen, so is that going to be like a an online course over an hour a week for 6 weeks, or is it a weekend? How are you?
Well, we're launching it first for the Havening community. That's everyone who's trained in Havening, and I'll be doing that in February next year, the 22nd. There'll be full day training on that with 6 weeks of 1 hour coaching and role playing calls after it's done on Zoom. And the idea is to get people after the 1 day training, the therapists, to start implementing it straight away with their inquiries and increasing their fees, and actually teaching them a framework as well, getting more clearer on, like, say, for example, a 4-session framework to resolve anxiety-based disorders and trauma. So there's quite a lot to it, but the essence of it is really about how you do that phone consultation to actually convert inquiries into clients.
Wonderful. But very, very, very needed. And that will help the Havening community a lot.
Yeah, and then I'll be rolling it out more to therapists and health professionals, psychotherapists, psychologists, hypnotherapists, etc.
Yeah.
Because I really see three issues. There's really, for me, it's about, number one, being able to deliver those type of results for clients consistently, top class results. Number two, it's really about then learning how to convert inquiries into clients, because without that part, you actually don't have a business. And if you can do that and you're charging a fair, decent fee, you then have cash flow and money to put into your business, be it for paid marketing or advertising, so you can get the inquiries in the first place. So there's a whole model and system to that I'm working on. It's something we're playing around with. I'm even we're coming up with the idea of the thriving transformational therapist training or framework. So that's a whole nother thing that we're working on and launching in 2025.
Yeah, brilliant. Because that is always a wonderful question to ask people: what's next? So, however, we do have something fun coming up. I will be meeting you in person in April at the Irish Hypnosis Conference. It's in Dublin. You live in Dublin, so it's your hometown. So that's good. That's great, isn't it? I mean, is that really good fun for you then? That it's like in your
it's brilliant. I don't have to jump on airplanes and jump and sleep in hotels. I can just go down the road and be at the conference. And you're speaking at it, I'm speaking, and we have experts from all over the world speaking at it. So, and it's brilliant. It's in Dublin. So that's what the 2 days, the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference.
It's the 4th and 5th of April. So, it's the Saturday and Sunday. So whatever that is in April, at the beginning. So I think it's the 4th and 5th. So yes, I'm really excited about meeting you. And I know I'm speaking on the Bunny Talk process. I'm going to be actually be demonstrating that on everybody, or not everybody, a volunteer, so that they can see it for themselves. And again, how efficient and effective it is, because that's what I love to learn. Anything that works effectively and efficiently for my clients. And again, it involves eye movements, and it's the how to as well, work with a child. And it dissociates the issue out, and then it's all through play for a child. Now, and I take it you're speaking on Havening?
Yeah, I'll be doing a live demonstration, not only just on Havening, on how to integrate. I'll be working with someone with first of all, with some sort of traumatic memory or maybe complex developmental trauma. And I'll be doing a demo on how to resolve that within minutes, but also utilizing NLP, hypnosis, and some other, if you like, techniques. So I'll be kind of showcasing some creative things we can do and integrate the hypnosis with the actual Havening. So it's going to be a bit different, because I'm not like Havening's not the only thing I do. I also, obviously, I'm a hypnotherapist for over 20 years now, and I utilize a lot of my hypnotic skills, if you like, when I'm even using Havening at times. So I'll be doing a demonstration on that, and doing a deconstruction as well, where I'm then going to deconstruct to the audience everything I did from an educational perspective, including the debrief. As you know, at Havening, we do very thorough debriefs to test our work, to make sure that we've completely and permanently resolved the issue. And I'll just be pulling the whole thing apart and teaching people what I actually did, how I did it. So like a deconstruction.
Oh, marvelous. Yes. Well, I'll be there. I'll be interested to see what you come up with. That'll be brilliant. So, well, thank you so much for coming on here today, Stephen. And I know we had a nice long chat before, and we may well have another chat after this. So, that's always good fun.
Oh, yeah. There is one thing I did actually forget to mention. I should mention, considering the time it is, we will be doing a Black Friday special offer on the Havening training. It's the lowest price you can get it at any time of the year. So I suppose we'll share the link on that for people who want to get the lowest price, and that includes the full certification and mentoring with me. And people will also get instant access to the Havening primer and the video training, so they can get started right now as well.
Wow. Okay.
So I just thought I had to just get that in.
Yes.
Just to let people know, because it's just that time of year at Black Friday, and might as well let people know.
Yeah, so anybody who's been enjoying the Havening and you are already a practitioner and you want to learn Havening, then definitely look into that link, because that sounds, well, if it's black.
Yeah, all the information's there, and it's a Black Friday thing. We run it for about 1 week in the year around this time, so it's just an opportunity if people want to get the best value in terms of the price of the certified training.
Yeah, and it is so useful to have lots of different tools in your toolbox, the ones that work and the how to, and that work effectively and efficiently. And as everybody knows on here, I am a certified Havening practitioner, and I have now created the Bunny Talk process, which is absolutely fabulous for children. So thank you again, Stephen. And as I said, we'll get the links in. So everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. And it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard. And it's goodbye from
Stephen Travers.
So take care, everybody.
Thank you for having me, Claudia.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching.